Welcome, everybody, to today's class of Living Lessons from Tanya. And we've been doing, we've done 17 chapters, which is pretty good. And we're about to start into a new phase of what the Tanya wants to teach us. Up until now, the first few chapters was explaining that there are two souls. There's a godly soul, there's an animal soul, which is the ego, which keeps us from wanting to do godly things and serving God. And then there's the battle between the two. We also learned about the makeup of how we are supposed to go and recognize how my soul works, the energies that they have. And then we finally came to chapter 12 was, what am I supposed to do when two voices? So the Alter Rebbe said in chapter 12, nobody expects you to be righteous 24/7. God didn't make you that way. But at this moment, make the right choice. Making the right choice at this moment makes you what we call a Beinoni. A Beinoni. You're not righteous. You're not wicked. But you made the right choice. You decided to go kosher restaurant instead of going somewhere else. You had your choice. You did the right thing. What will be tomorrow? What will be? We don't know. But you can make the right choice again. So it's not all or nothing. Do a moment by moment way of serving God. And then we ask the question, how is this person supposed to have the energy to be able to constantly want and love God? So in the last few chapters, we spoke about the greatness of contemplating how great God is, that every moment he's recreating the world and he takes care of a billion ants and the anthills and the bees and the wasps and the whales and the seaweed. Everything is being taken care of, even you. When you start realizing how great God is and he still is taking care of you, then all of a sudden you realize, wow, God cares about me. And now that God cares about me, I love you too, God, and I will do what you want. Chapter 18 starts a whole new ballgame. This is going to be speaking about the Jew. I don't know what to contemplate about God. What do I know? I didn't go to yeshiva. I didn't go to Jewish day school. I didn't go to anywhere to be able to study what Judaism is all about. How am I supposed to go and be able to have a relationship with God if you're asking me to contemplate on his greatness? Seriously? I don't know too much. So if a Jew doesn't know too much, what will they be able to contemplate on? Or what love can they have of God if they don't know too much? Imagine. You grew up in Russia. What did I know about God? You expect me now to have a love for God and be able to go and say, oh, I can't wait to put on tefillin every day. So the Alter Rebbe is going to blow your mind. There's a powerful aha moment almost right at the beginning. Let's turn to chapter 18 in this wonderful holy book in the Lessons of Tanya. We're on page 114. So the Alter Rebbe, they highlight just one line from chapter 18, which will be the basis of a lot to do of our class today. It says that every single Jew, if you remember, we spoke about that every single Jew has 10 energies in his soul or her soul to make you be able to go and do what you need to do. 3 of them are intellectual, 7 of them are emotional, but each one of these things is a program. And when you tap into this program, it does it. For an example, I need to be able to bring in wisdom. So there's a power called chokhmah, wisdom, that I can bring stuff in. Bina, to understand things. Now that I have all this understanding, it's called knowledge. How do I apply it to action? And the action that I'm going to be applying it to, maybe I'll give charity, etc. So in the chokhmah power, in the wisdom power, comes the Alter Rebbe and says that God can be found and the level of wisdom in the soul of every single Jew, whoever you are. In other words, makes no difference. Whether you're born in Brooklyn, New York, Jerusalem, and you have such an upbringing of knowing everything about Judaism, even a Jew who is born in Russia or born in a home somewhere in Alabama, a Jewish home, oh, you know, I'm Jewish. That's it. I don't know anything about God to contemplate. In your chokhmah, soul power, God is found. And you can tap into it. What? I can tap into it? What are you talking about? Let's go see. Since God is beyond our understanding, does that mean that God is totally removed from us? Is there a way we can actually connect to God, even though God is way beyond anything we can fathom? And the answer is yes, you can. It is possible to connect to God by revealing the hidden connection which every Jew is naturally born with. Whoa, I have a natural connection with God? Okay, Rabbi, you're talking hocus pocus. Let's get to reality over here. So let's continue. The best way to know something is true and it's real is if you see it. When you hear about something, all right, it needs to make a lot of sense in order for you to accept it. Still, if you have a lot of questions about something you heard, you probably, if I have a lot of questions on it, until I totally get it, I'm not going to believe it. In contrast, something that you yourself saw, you will most definitely believe it. Even if you have questions about what you saw. Even if what you saw, you don't understand how it happened. But you saw it happening. You'll believe it because you actually saw it. That's what a witness is. I see something. What was the motive behind it? I don't know. But one thing for sure, I believe and I know what I saw because I saw it with my own two eyes. Emunah, faith, in Judaism is called seeing. Whoa, Rabbi. How am I supposed to have faith if I don't know anything about Judaism? Hold on. I'll get you there. Just like when you have seen something, so too is faith is something that inside never weakens. And an answer doesn't strengthen faith. Emunah is a conviction. And we'll get to that conviction in a moment. But just let me lay down the foundation. And then you're all going to go and say, wow, Rabbi, you're right. You'll see. Emunah is a conviction beyond understanding, beyond questions and answers. I believe, this is in my gut. This is in my gut. I know. Having faith, emunah in God, is not something that a Jew must create within themselves. It's not something you have to learn or understand. But it's a natural point in you. And that emunah, and that faith, and that love can pop up anywhere, even though all you know is I was born Jewish. My father's not Jewish. Never went to Hebrew school. I never had a bat mitzvah. But it can pop up at any given time. And you know it. And you'll feel it. This deep and eternal connection can sometimes be covered up and sleeping, which many Jewish people have that issue. It sleeps in us. But it's always there. It's just lingering in the core, in the essence of your soul. For example, when something happens that touches a person to their very core, such a situation, for an example, it threatens you to tear you away from being connected to God or as a Jew, all of a sudden, whoa, you wake up Excuse me. Whoa, I'm a Jew. Whoa, 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 whoa. I love God. For example, in the times of the Crusades, there were many Jewish people that weren't so learned. But when they were forced by the sword, either bow down to idols or give up your life, Jews said, I'm taking my life. There's no way that I, as a Jew, I don't know why, but they're willing to die for it. October 7th. How many Jewish people? They were c'est la vie, whatever. They really didn't do much to be able to have much of a relationship and a connection with God. But the moment October 7th happened, you're attacking me. I love being Jewish. There's a love in me. I need a mezuzah. I got to put up a mezuzah. That's something that God wants. I got to do it. Where'd that come from? You telling me when French people are attacked in France, all of a sudden those French people that are 3-4 generations removed from the country of France, you think all of a sudden they start saying, oh, I got to go and buy French toast because I got to relate to my people back in France? No, it doesn't happen. But we Jewish people, no matter where you are in the world, no matter how much you think you're in distance, bam, it wakes up. Why? Because in the soul of every Jew, God implants naturally that you have a love for God. See, in the last chapters, we were talking about that when a person wants to go and work on themselves to be able to say, I'll make the right choices. So you have to contemplate, you have to think. That's the greatest way. The more you think about something, the more your head is involved in something, the more you're going to be able to say, that's where I am. So if I study Torah or if I contemplate Torah, to contemplate the greatness of God, that's where I am. So of course I'm going to do the right thing. So that is a great exercise. But what about the Jew who's so far from understanding things about God and learning things about God? They too, by nature of a Jew, they wake up. Boom! How many Jewish people around the world that didn't go to Yom Kippur? They didn't hear the shofar Rosh Hashanah. It wasn't part of their... But today they're going, whoa, the war may be over. The hostages are coming home. You could be living in America 5 generations. Your grandparents have not been in Israel for maybe 2,000 years. But there's a connection. You're me, I'm you. We're all connected with the godly soul because we're all Jewish. In every Jew is hidden this natural love for God. And when it gets tapped, we feel it. We know it. It may have been lying buried for many years. A moment beforehand, the person may have been sitting and eating, I don't want to go and say McDonald's, but you know what I'm saying. But the moment something reaches deep to the core, boom, the Jew wakes up. I'm a Jew. If you were Jewish 5 minutes ago in your mind and in your I'm going to go to McDonald's? Of course not. A Jew doesn't go to McDonald's. But most of us are not thinking about it. But the moment you have such a love for God, like, wow, there's a miracle happening right now that the hostages could be coming home. At this moment, you're thinking, I'm in such love with God. I'm in such love with the Jewish people. You know that feeling. It touches you to the point of real emunah. What does emunah mean? Faith. I don't understand what's going on inside me. I don't know what's triggering me. I don't know what's tickling inside me. But there's something going on inside me. That's faith. That is the neshama, your soul, coming alive. You hit the nail on the head, and all of a sudden it triggered. And you say like this, wow. Yes, at this moment, Am Yisrael Chai. Right now, you're starting to say, I am a Jew, and I'm proud, and I'll sing it out loud. Even the Jew who never went to school, yeshiva, Hebrew Judaic school, even the one that never had a bar bat mitzvah, never had a Jewish education, grew up in a home where the father wasn't Jewish and the mother didn't do anything because they didn't want to upset the father. So the child grew up a real secular Jew. All he knew he was Jewish. The moment he heard October 7th happened, he felt attacked. The moment he woke up this morning or heard yesterday that the hostages are coming home, once again, wow, something's triggering me. There's something about being a Jew. Which, by the way, since October 7th, so many people started putting on the tefillin, so many women started lighting Shabbos candles, so many Jews started getting closer and closer to the religion because of this natural love that a Jew has for God and being Jewish. Became, instead of running and hiding, October 7th, I was attacked to my core, to my essence. Made me a prouder Jew that I have to do more. This the Alter Rebbe is saying in this chapter of 18 is that even if a Jew doesn't learn a lot of Torah, they can still be awakened. Now you understand why Chabad goes everywhere in the world and asks the person, excuse me, are you Jewish? Let's do a mitzvah. The moment you ask somebody you're Jewish, they go, whoa, 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 whoa. Nobody ever asked me that question. All of a sudden, you're awakening me, the Jew in me. And all of a sudden, next thing you know, you're sitting at the Chabad Rabbi's table, you met his wife, his children, you're having kugel and chicken and gefilte fish. And all of a sudden, you start to learn more and love more about your Judaism. Because we know what Alter Rebbe writes here, that every single Jew, in nature of a Jew, has a hidden love that just needs to be triggered. Many of us are learned, so if we contemplate, we can really work on our love. But even the simplest Jew has that same powerful love, and it can be tapped into, and it can go kaboom, like a firecracker. And all of a sudden, like, I feel it, I know it. But where did it come from? I don't know, but it's in me. And that's because you have a Jewish neshama, and God implants in each and every one of us that powerful love of being a Jew and a love for God. Page 115. Alter Rebbe had a famous saying, as we read on top, words, pearls of wisdom. No Jew is willing or able to say, I want to rip myself and separate myself from God. No Jew goes and says, I want to get, you can't separate yourself from God. You know the famous story. There was a guy that emailed his rabbi, who called his rabbi. He says, Rabbi, I got to tell you something. I hate being Jewish. Oh, I hate being Jewish. You know what? My name was Nachmanovich. I changed it to McCormick so nobody should know I'm Jewish. But then after a while, I recognized my nose. And my nose looked a little Jewish. I got already plastic surgery. But that wasn't enough, Rabbi. My bris. I did an operation, so if I ever go into a schwitz, people should see that I never was circumcised. That's what I've done. Rabbi, not only did I do that, I married a non-Jew, so none of my children should ever be Jewish. That's how much I hate being Jewish. And then all of a sudden I thought about it, Rabbi. I did something even more. I bought a plot in a non-Jewish cemetery to make sure I won't be buried with any of my people. So the rabbi goes and says, why are you telling me this? So he goes and says, Rabbi, you don't get it. I don't know what it is, but I think there's still something else I have to do to separate myself from being a Jew. And the rabbi told him, you did this, you did this, you did this, you did this. Don't you get it? By nature, a Jew can't separate themselves from the people or from God. So here this guy was trying to do whatever he can. Comes out to them and says, a Jew can't separate themselves from the Jewish people. And by the way, if you did try separating yourself, the non-Jews will remind you one way or another. You can't separate yourself from God either. Even if you talk yourself into that you're an atheist, there'll be times in your life you're going to go, that can convince me there's a God in this world. Because down deep, you know that in the core, in the essence, a Jew is a Jew connected with God, and the love is hidden there. No matter how far you may roam, a Jew can always come back home. Here's another beautiful thing. It says, look where it says, did you know? Since Abraham and Isaac and Jacob and Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, Leah, each one of them was so holy to do God's work, they were called like a chariot. They were called like, a chariot is like, I bring you from here to there. They were so holy that they brought godliness down in the world and into their essence of who they are. So great was Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob that in each and every one of their children, their DNA of their spirituality is found in every Jew. So I've inherited Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Now you know why we're called the children of Yisrael. To be a child, I need the DNA. The word Yisrael means Yud, Sin, Resh, Aleph, Lamed. Yitzchak, Yaakov, Isaac, Jacob. Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, Rebecca, Rachel. Avraham, Abraham, Leah. So you have the three fathers, the four mothers. The acronym of their letters is Yisrael. Therefore, everything about them is in me. So they implanted in me, hidden in me, my DNA, naturally, is their love for God and their recognition of God and their belief and understanding of the beautiful nation that they were building. Comes the Alter Rebbe and says, look what's hidden inside you. You don't even know it, but by nature you have it. Unfortunately, it may take a day like October 7th, or even maybe a happy day like today that you just hear the news that our brothers and sisters may come home. You identify as a Jew. And even you want to go and say, I want to dance. I want to thank God. We're all feeling fantastic. Where did I come from? They're Israelis. I'm an American. No, they're my brother. They're my sister. Even though I may be 2,000 years removed from anybody that ever lived in that country. That's the nature of every single one of us. My dear friends, we're now living in extraordinary times. Unbelievable, extraordinary times. Where Jewish people are starting to awaken. They want to know more. They want to learn more. They want to have that. Woohoo! I wish all of you were able to be with me this past Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, especially Yom Kippur. Packed to the gills was our hotel, the ballroom in the hotel. It was filled, thank God. We brought more chairs and more chairs. There was still standing room only. But the joy that was going on the whole Yom Kippur, and especially by the end, when everybody was so proud. And I got to tell you something. My congregation isn't like very religious people. They're Jewish people that are once-a-year Jews. They're Americans that are very secular. They're Jews that are from Russia, from Persia, from Israel, from all over. But my services is made for people who are beginners. And you should have seen them by the end of Yom Kippur. They weren't going, I'm so hungry. No, they were singing. They were Shema Yisrael. The love of being a Jew. The relation and connection to God was revealed. Because it's in each and every one of us. It's in each and every one of us. Can't do anything about it. You can keep it dormant. Or when it wakes up, grab it and run with it. In the middle of chapter 17, where we're going to end, that is 18, that is exactly where the Alter Rebbe wants you and I to be. He wants you and I to be even if you're such a far Jew, you're not lost. You don't have to be somebody that went to Jewish school and knows so much about Judaism. Be you. Reveal you. The moment you feel it, go for it. It's good to be a Jew. True, there's some days that doesn't feel that way, but that's when you reveal the inner Jew inside you. Even October 7th, so many Jewish people decide to go and say, I need a mezuzah. I need to light Shabbos candles. I need to reconnect. How did that happen? Because the Jew in you, the piece of God in you, the beauty of what you are was revealed. Yeah. So all of you that are watching this today, you're all going to say like this, wow, is the rabbi saying even me, the way I am, I can have the whole ball of wax? You bet. It's in you. Tap it, enjoy it, and bring it out and live it. And you're going to be like a lot of Jews walking around the streets today going, I'm a Jew and I'm proud and I'll sing it out loud. May God bless you. Have a beautiful Thursday, and I'll see you next week in this beautiful class of Living Lessons from Tanya.